Prologue. I have worked with and been fascinated by the subconscious mind for many years. The fascination started approximately 25 years ago, when my, at that time very young wife, was taking her final exams to become a teacher. She was frightened to death of having to be examined and was on the verge of giving it all up. I had by chance read a kind of Dummies for Hypnotists, read this book and become a great hypnotist in 10 minutes. And I thought it would not hurt trying out the techniques on my wife. Things could only get better. We got up together very early in the morning, and I used what I had learned to the best of my abilities. The book was very simple, straightforward and direct in its form. Bring the person into hypnosis and give the subconscious mind a number of positive suggestions. I am quite sure that I made some elementary mistakes, that I nowadays, as an experienced well-trained master hypnotist, would have smiled at. My wife was more calm, confident and relaxed the following mornings after the hypnosis seances, and also passed her final exams. Whether my efforts had any actual effect, or whether it rather was my wife's blind trust in my hypnotic abilities that did the trick, those early experiences with hypnosis left a little seed in my stomach. This seed lay dormant for several years, before it was awakened fully to life. After taking a long university education in music and science, health issues forced me to shift my ground, and I began educating myself to be a therapist. At first I had courses in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and later several years training in advanced hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy almost instantly became my favorite field of practice, offering a fast and effective tool to deep and lasting personal change. So what's this book about? What this book is about? This book is all about identifying old, rigid, outdated beliefs from the past and replacing them with new fresh powerful beliefs. This exchange takes place on a subconscious level, so this book is also a book about the subconscious mind and how to use self-hypnosis as a wonderful tool to create access to our hidden beliefs. In this book you will learn to master a universal technique of transforming beliefs that can be used for everything, and I mean everything. Understand and communicate with your subconscious mind. Change old hardcore habits, thoughts and beliefs. Create a breeding ground for new, healthy and fresh contemporary mind programs. Master a simple bulletproof self-hypnosis technique that works and that is yours forever. Take control of your subconscious life, going from unconscious victim to conscious creator. Create a stronger body, greater mental clarity and a higher level of consciousness. Maintain and reinforce the changes you create. What is required from your side? 1. A sincere desire for change. Perhaps the circumstances of your life right now are problematic or downright unbearable. Fine, this is an excellent starting point for change. Some of the greatest human aha experiences consciousness quantum leaps have been based on an intolerable situation. What has happened in many of these people's lives is that they actually started to doubt, like Eckhart Tolle for example. When he started doubting, he discovered himself as the living witness behind everything. This may sound somewhat backward, as the buzzwords for many years have been, believe in yourself, think you're good enough. This is undoubtedly excellent, but if you do not first identify the false, meaning old untrue limiting beliefs from the past, that we unconsciously have inherited through generations, much willpower must be used to budge old ingrained beliefs of the past. It's like turning off a fire with gasoline. 2. A willingness to spend 10 minutes of your day to monitor, maintain and enhance the progress you have made. This can be done by quickly and efficiently bringing yourself into a trance, using a simple self-hypnosis technique, described in the chapter on self-hypnosis. I know from experience with thousands of my hypnosis clients, that great progress can happen very quickly using hypnosis and hypnotherapy, but it still is important to continue the work yourself. Hypnosis can be very efficient, But I want you to be the captain of your own ship, so you can steer the ship in the exact direction you want. Therefore, this book is also about how you in the easiest and simplest way can maintain and reinforce the changes you create. Identifying what's false. For you to be successful with the exercises in this book, there are a number of elements that must be present. First of all, you need to know exactly what to change and reprogram in yourself. The easiest way to identify and reach your goal is to identify the beliefs that prevent you from achieving your goal. By this I mean that we have to identify what's false first, to be able to define what's true. When I say false, I mean all the beliefs we subconsciously have chosen to be and live out, and which contradict the obvious fact that we as humans already are absolutely unique precious beings made out of light and love. We have to see through ourselves and realize what we are and what we are not. The logical rational mind is excellent at telling and outlining the truth about ourselves. It thinks logically, and from a logical point of view, it's quite obvious that we as human beings are precious and invaluable. Therefore, we can use our conscious mind to write down and formulate exactly what we want our new beliefs to be. The conscious mind already knows the truth about us, as it is not governed by emotions and subconscious programs of the past. Making it eatable. It is imperative to formulate the new belief as precisely as possible, in order to make it as eatable for the subconscious mind. You cannot just take a random sentence and assume that the subconscious mind eats it raw. It is necessary to address it in a language that the subconscious mind understands. This language is emotional, creative, timeless. It's the language of your dreams. Therefore, I have dedicated a chapter in this book on how to create the perfect belief. Establishing contact. Subsequently, to be able to change your deepest subconscious beliefs, the new belief has to be placed deep within the subconscious mind. To do this, you have to be able to connect with your subconscious mind. In order to establish this contact, you first need to understand exactly what the subconscious mind is all about and understand the difference between the conscious and subconscious mind. This information is contained in the chapter, The Amazing Subconscious Mind. Finally, we need to actually enter the subconscious mind. This is done with self-hypnosis. Again, to be able to go fast and efficiently in self-hypnosis, it is important to learn what hypnosis is and, more importantly, what it certainly is not. I have therefore written a section on hypnosis, self-hypnosis, and included a frequently asked questions about hypnosis. Hypnosis. Myths and misconceptions. When I started as a hypnotherapist 13 years ago, I was both very green and inexperienced. I had, throughout my education, acquired a lot of theoretical knowledge of hypnosis, as well as a great number of hypnotherapy techniques, ready to be used in my clinic. It took me some time, though, to understand the subconscious mind completely. My clients arrived with a lot of control, projections, prejudices and myths about hypnosis, but also with hopes and dreams of a richer and better life. Therefore, I have always spent a great deal of time to strip this control of my clients, thereby giving them the possibility of the most effective treatment. These guidelines of course also apply for this book, as you will be your own hypnotist. The fear and control. A typical myth about hypnosis that I often hear from my clients is, "Now you won't make me act like a hen, will you?" This statement obviously originates from various stage hypnosis shows where the hypnotist, in order to make an entertaining show, has hypnotized a susceptible spectator. Statements like this are of course often used from the client's side as a kind of humorous icebreaker, but it still reveals an underlying fear inside the person. It is the fear of losing control that here rears its head. Another very persistent myth that I often hear from my clients is, "I thought I was going to be completely gone." Again, a myth which may have originated from hypnosis stage shows, where the poor victim sat and nodded his head, and appeared to be sleeping. Nothing could be more wrong. Hypnosis has nothing to do with sleep. It was especially early in my career that I heard this statement, until I decided to put a thorough end to it, by informing clients very clearly about this fact and repeating this until my clients fully understood and accepted it. I am mentioning this to you, dear reader, to ensure that you, in the easiest way and without any doubt, can connect with your amazing subconscious mind, thus taking advantage of all its wonderful possibilities. It was my client's inherent subconscious resistance, which taught me to understand the subconscious mind's vast potential and endless possibilities. With this knowledge I became more and more aware of how limited the conscious mind actually is and how subconscious we actually live our lives, without being aware of it. The transformation technique in this book is based on a simple but proven technique, that I for a number of years have used on my clients. Through the years, I have refined and developed the technique, so it has become more and more complete and efficient. Therefore, I know exactly what it takes to get the subconscious mind to accept new ideas. This knowledge I will pass on to you in this book. Once you understand this, you will also know that the easiest way to create deep, incredible and lasting changes in your life is to create a channel directly to the subconscious mind. You will learn to use this channel to connect with your subconscious mind very quickly and efficiently, and bring yourself into hypnosis while at the same time taking advantage of the fact that you daily are in contact with the state of hypnosis quite naturally. Self-hypnosis frequently asked questions. A number of frequently asked questions about hypnosis. Q. I don't know if I can go into hypnosis. A. Hypnosis is a natural state that occurs many times during the day. Typically when you are watching TV, daydreaming or driving your car. Q. What if I go too deep and cannot wake again? A. The worst, or best, that can happen is that you fall asleep. All hypnotized subjects have come out of hypnosis again. It's a nice peaceful relaxed state of mind. Q. I'm afraid of my subconscious mind. A. Your subconscious mind is your friend and protector. For example, it is your subconscious which brings you safely through 117 traffic lights while you simultaneously are busy thinking of a present for Aunt Ellie's birthday on Saturday. Q. Will it be safe for me to drive afterwards? A. Totally safe as long as you have been brought sensibly out of the trance, what the therapist naturally does. Q. I am afraid I will lose control. A. You will never lose more control than the subconscious permits is good for you. Q. How do I know that I am in hypnosis? A. Good question. You do not need to know that you are in hypnosis to be in hypnosis. The very best is actually not searching for evidence. Trust that hypnosis is a totally natural state that you slip in and out of throughout the day. Trust that you have this ability and just follow the simple instructions that you get. Q. I can't be hypnotized. A. It's not about whether you can. It's about whether you want to. Hypnosis is an inherent natural state of consciousness. If you do not want to, then that is fine, but you can do it. The amazing subconscious mind. Planting your reality. Figure 1. Even before you ever saw the light of day, your subconscious mind was in the process of working for you and within you. This vast intelligence made sure that everything went according to the master plan, while half of you merged with the other half of you and formed an incredible and truly miraculous creation. Your cells divided and multiplied themselves and became billions of complex functions in your body and brain. All this work was completely unconscious for you. It just happened. In the first 6 to 7 years of your life, the vast majority of your beliefs, personal limits, habitual programs, opinions, moral, and ethics were formed. During these years, you were like a sponge, which uncritically sucked all the moisture from the environment, unaware of the brine perhaps not being the best quality. You wanted to learn and wanted to learn fast. Because we are surrounded by unconsciousness, you sucked in all this unawareness and made it your own, without giving it a second thought. This means that while you learned a lot of new stuff, You also incorporated a lot of junk, a bit like an email program without a virus filter. Much of this junk still governs you on a subconscious level. Some individuals, out there, probably have been luckier with the amount of junk they subconsciously integrated, but no one and absolutely no one can consider themselves free from being controlled by one or more old inadequate mental or emotional sub-programs. In fact, we act much more subconsciously than we think we do. Even when we make conscious decisions and think we are in complete control, it may be a hiding place of a subconscious program. For example, an ex-smoker who is absolutely certain that a single cigarette cannot harm him, and that this decision it is under his full control, he gets fooled by his subconscious. The subconscious mind knows that when ex-smoker starts smoking again, then the cigarette will give him the feeling of security. The subconscious mind loves to give us this feeling and is much stronger than the conscious mind. Alas! The ex-smoker is a smoker again with an illusory sense of security though. Feelings dominate willpower. Why oh why can't I change? You've probably asked yourself many times. It can't be true that I cannot change this habit. Yes, it can easily be so. Our subconscious habits dominate the conscious mind by a factor of 10 to 1 or more. This connection becomes even stronger if feelings are involved with the habit. A habit combined with a lot of feelings is a very strong cocktail. An example of an emotional connected habit, nail biting. Nail biting is a subconscious habit that many people try hard to get rid of. If you bite your nails, you've probably done it most of your life and systematically programmed the subconscious to bring your fingers and your nails up to your mouth and teeth. The subconscious remembers this habit. It remembers the motor part of the habit, the movement of the arm and hand to your mouth, and it also remembers the circumstances for which the habit is required. The subconscious does as it has learned. This habit is part of the junk that you unknowingly incorporated while younger. This doesn't mean that the subconscious mind is evil. It is neither good nor bad. It tries, with all the means at its disposal, to satisfy an immediate need. Nail biting is indeed a habit that has a lot of emotions attached to it and often deeply rooted in the past. Maybe you lost your pacifier too fast, or had not had enough of your mother's warm breast when she stopped breastfeeding. In these cases you subconsciously experienced fear of some kind. All security vanished in a split second and you were left all alone on the edge of a giant gulf. Fear arose in you. Your subconscious primary role is to protect us from fear. What did your subconscious do? It quickly looked for a replacement that could soothe and transform fear, which in the case the nail biter became the fingers and nails. You are awake but sleeping. It actually means that a large part of your life is controlled by a 6-year-old. But I'm 34 years old, drive my own car and do a lot of adult stuff. You might say. Yes, but you can only be aware of what you are conscious of, the rest of you is run by your subconscious autopilot. Figure 4. The overall distribution of conscious and subconscious knowledge is that about approximately 90% of your behavior is governed by the subconscious and about 10% is conscious. Some studies go so far as showing that even up to 95% of our daily life could be subconsciously controlled. That's no problem at all if all the underlying sub-programs, beliefs and habits are good and well functioning, but this is rarely the case. So how can I change these deep automatic beliefs? Well, the first step is to acknowledge that you have a problem, and that it lies beyond the reach of your conscious control. You can only change that what you acknowledge being unaware of. By taking this step, you actually take back control. This enables you to identify some of the habits and sub-programs that create pain and imbalance in your life. And in that way become more conscious of your unconsciousness. This is the first step towards change, acknowledging and identifying the bad habit. The alpha state, brainwave frequencies. You have often been in the alpha state numberless times without being aware of it. While driving your car and having passed a lot of traffic lights without registering whether the lights were red, yellow or green. Who was driving the car? Your subconscious mind. While drifting into a pleasant daydream and forgetting all about your surroundings. You pass through the alpha state every night when you lie down to sleep and you doze inward. You automatically slide from consciousness into subconsciousness. The alpha state can also be reached through self-hypnosis or autosuggestion, or in light meditation. In the alpha state, you are calm, relaxed, focused internally, daydreaming, dozing. Delta wave, 0.1 to 3 Hz. Theta waves, 4 to 7.5 Hz. Alpha wave, 7.5 to 14 Hz. Beta wave, 14, 30 Hz. Delta waves reside at a very low frequency, about 0.1 to 3 Hz, which is the frequency that our brain waves oscillate in when we are in deep dreamless sleep. Theta waves are located between 4 and 7.5 Hz. This level is typical for deeper sleep or meditation states. Beta is the frequency that characterizes our awake conscious life, where we make rational, logical and critical decisions. This is also where we feel alert. This is of course a necessity in order to function properly, but the condition may tend to escalate, resulting in a more stressful state of mind. A stressed person's brain waves can move up to about 30 Hz. It is on the edge between alpha and theta at around 6, 8 Hz, that the conscious mind is more or less fully suspended and the contact with the subconscious mind is most unhindered. At this level you can experience strong fantasies, have immensely creative inspirations and ideas, and even feel contact with an extended reality like cosmos, the universe or the one creator. This is the brainwave level that you, through self-hypnosis, are going to train, explore and exploit. The gatekeeper, your conscious critical faculty. While you grow up and learn everything between heaven and earth, your conscious critical faculty also grows until about 18, 20 years of age. The critical faculty is a kind of filter between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Figure 4. The great paradox is, that it is precisely this filter we ourselves form, that later on in life is going to prevent us from changing old inappropriate patterns and habits. We generate our own blind spot, so to speak. The critical faculty could also be called our doorman. It is like a sentry, which compares the information it receives from the outside world, with that which already exists in the subconscious. If there is a discrepancy, then the information is rejected. To illustrate how the critical factor works in real life, I have chosen a typical example of how a phobia is formed. A phobia is born. What causes a phobia? Imagine little Peter of 7 years, at home in the garden where he lives. He is sitting in his favorite tree on his favorite branch and wiggling his feet. It's absolutely calm and windless in the garden. All of a sudden it starts blowing, and a gust of wind shakes the branch. Peter becomes momentarily disconcerted and frightened, though he only sits 3 feet above the ground. For just a slight moment the subconscious senses fear and decides, this must be dangerous, and connects the fear along with being above the ground. The subconscious mind's primary target is to protect us against fear, so it represses the experience deep within the subconsciousness, where it from now on will be triggered when Peter is up over something. Bingo, a phobia of heights is born. Later on, when Peter has become a big and strong man, and is going flying for the first time, he suddenly experiences a strange and inexplicable anxiety. He starts to sweat, his heart beats faster and his breathing becomes more shallow and irregular. It's the subconscious, which signals that Peter must run like hell and get out of there in a hurry. The subconscious remembers and relives and just does its job, which is to protect us against fear. The only problem is just that the subconscious jumps to the wrong conclusion here. Flying an airplane is the safest way of transportation, but we cannot convince ourselves of this, because of our gatekeeper. It compares the inside and outside information and blocks for the belief to be changed. There has been disagreement between the conscious and the subconscious. So how do we change our habits and beliefs? You can do it in a difficult or an easy manner. The difficulty is trying to change a habit or belief with your willpower. This is what many smokers do, when they try to quit smoking. They go cold turkey and stop. 90% of them statistically start again. Why? Simply because they bang their head against their own wall of protection, the gatekeeper. The arguments on why it's good for the smoker ricochet, no matter how many good and rational the arguments are. The subconscious is emotional, irrational, habitual and dominates the mind in most cases. Of course, it is possible to quit a habit with willpower alone and retain the decision. My hat off to that, but it is most likely to become a struggle, because the subconscious mind again and again would seek to enforce the habit, because it believes that this is what it must do. The non-smoker will always be a subconscious smoker and will therefore always have to be alert to situations where smoking can be triggered. The easier way is, based on the described knowledge about the gatekeeper, simply to bypass the critical mind. Hypnosis and, in the case of this book, self-hypnosis are the easiest, simplest and most effective ways to circumvent the critical mind. Period. So what do I get access to? Unlimited power. This is not another new age clique, it's true. The possibilities are endless. We subconsciously create, identify and become our beliefs. Our whole view of the world is created upon our beliefs. If you change your beliefs, you change your world. My point is, that when you see the world changing, it is in fact you yourself, who consciously or subconsciously have chosen to believe in something new. The subconscious can best be described as a dream. You've probably dreamt many dreams over the years, and I know that most of them have probably seemed weird, freaky, scary but sometimes also wonderful and lovely. The subconscious is just like one of those dreams, illogical, irrational, emotional, intuitive, creative, independent of time, place and space. The subconscious can monitor approximately 20 million bits per second, handle simultaneous processes, while the conscious mind can only handle a few bits at a time. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is dangerous and not dangerous. Therefore a small spider can seem like a monster and disrupt an otherwise logical rational thinking person. Figure 4. Right now your subconscious mind is working at full power, dealing with millions of complex body and brain processes. The subconscious mind is constantly at work and creating our reality. It is the invisible underlying intelligence that works for us rock steady. If you didn't have your subconscious mind running right now, the room you're in now would seem very flat. You will live in flatland, because the subconscious mind would not be there to create all the billions underlying visual and auditory impressions, and it would be up to the conscious mind's very limited ability to create impressions. About beliefs. Our beliefs create our reality. As the quote above a bit cryptic says, is that to have a belief, then we have to believe in it. The vast majority of our beliefs are formed during our first years. Perhaps when you were a child, you sat around the family table and listened to what the adults were talking about. One of the major culprits, in my opinion, have been sayings and proverbs that more or less automatically have been passed down from generation to generation. Maybe an uncle or aunt is present at the table that day. The grown-ups are talking about what the people around the table are dreaming about. Suddenly aunt's razor-sharp voice makes your bones freeze to the marrow as she says, "You should not fly higher than your wings can carry you." Little you may become a little startled by this sudden, loud outburst, and you think like a 4-year-old child probably would think, then it probably is wise to stay low, so you do not hurt yourself so much. A lot can happen in such a small innocent child's mind. Hopefully the proverb does not get stuck in the subconscious, but if it is a phrase that at home is repeated again and again, then it can turn into a belief. A belief arising out of the above could be, just imagine for a second the limitations that this kind of view of life could result in. Every time new possibilities arise, the opportunity isn't taken because of the fear of failing. It's almost unbearable, what such dogma can cause. Okay, let's assume for illustrational purposes, that the person in the example above wants to change. Creating the perfect affirmation, important criteria. We humans have 5 senses available, in addition to our 6th and more intuitive sense. These are sound, touch, sight, taste and smell. The more senses that are attached to a belief, the stronger the effect. Especially the emotional and visual senses appeal strongly to the subconscious mind. Linking feelings and images with a mental sentence gives you a cocktail that appeals to the subconscious and which the subconscious will be more inclined to accept. Choosing the mental part. Now the opportunity to choose exactly what the subconscious mind is to learn is in reach. A 100% conscious decision can be made. In response to the above limiting belief, a new belief could be formulated as, the affirmation must be stated as if the changes already have occurred. Remember, the subconscious is independent of time and place. It interprets and understands everything based on what exists and is going on right now. Criteria for the affirmation. It must be in the present tense. It must be fairly short. It must be precise. It must be positively formulated. The sentence shouldn't contain any negations like, I will not be fat. I will not smoke. Let's look at a few other examples of limiting beliefs that one can reformulate. For someone with a lack of faith in himself, a fundamental belief could sound like, this affirmation is greatly limited by time, it is non-specific and emotionally negative. One could reformulate the sentence into, skeptics may argue that it is not quite correct, because the person does not have everything. It is true and yet still not, because we ask the subconscious mind to accept that we have everything we want right now. The subconscious mind's thinking is based on a completely different reality, which is unlimited. One should never impose limited ideas on the subconscious mind, but rather support its inherent unlimited perception of reality. This principle is known as a universal principle, and in this age we live in right now, known as the law of attraction. Another example of a limiting belief might be, this phrase could come from an insecure person and could be reformulated to, notice how the direction of the sentence is changed from at first being directed outwards and then being directed inwards toward the person's inner, from an outer to an inner control. The emotional connection. After having formulated the phrase mentally, the next step is to associate a feeling emotion to the sentence. Wouldn't planting a simple phrase in the subconscious be enough? You might ask. No, we want to take advantage of all the features that the subconscious mind is composed of. The subconscious mind is in its essence emotional and therefore reacts very well to emotional charged suggestions. Combining the different modalities, auditory the sound of the affirmation, with the kinesthetic, the feeling of already having reached the goal, with the visual a picture, image, symbol, you so to speak increase the glue to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind much faster accepts an element that is adapted to the subconscious own preferences. Feel where the feeling resides in the body, so you know exactly how it feels and where it is located. Is it warm or cool, expansive or contractive, round or square, big or small? Characterize it so that you become familiar with it. Feel it, as if the change already has happened. The phrase you now have created is a mental sentence, containing words, and with an emotional attachment, feelings and sensations. The visual connection. Now we want to reinforce the belief by creating a visual symbol for the affirmation too. If it is wealth that you want, the symbol can be a dollar bill. If it is a state such as freedom and independence, then it might be the image of an eagle. If it is courage and strength, it could be a tiger like in Fig. 5. The possibilities are endless. Your choice of symbol will always be the right. Only you can make the right choice. The above examples are for illustrative purposes only. Smell and taste. If you further link taste and smell to your beliefs, that's even better. This will only reinforce the belief further. The most important factor, however, is the emotional attachment and then the visual. Now it's time to go to train yourself in self-hypnosis. 5-step self-hypnosis. This self-hypnosis is to be learned by heart, before you move to the transformation technique. Before you read and perform this self-hypnosis exercise, I will ask one thing of you. Put all preconceived ideas about hypnosis away, including thoughts about what you think it will be like to be in hypnosis, and just follow my instructions blindly. When I say this, it's because my long experience from all my live hypnosis sessions and self-hypnosis sessions tells me that a particular factor must be met in order for hypnosis to be achieved quickly and efficiently. By this I mean it's crucial that you don't search for any signs of whether you are in hypnosis or not, but just assume that you are. It's all about providing the critical factor, with as little to work with as possible, so assume that you easily will go into hypnosis and that everything is absolutely perfect when you hypnotize yourself. Trust your own abilities, and that the state of hypnosis is natural and comfortable. Position yourself comfortably. I assume that you already have found a place where you can sit or lie down completely undisturbed, so you easily and without any problems can drift away into a pleasant state of hypnosis. Please ensure that all electronic devices are turned off. You may want to turn your phone on flight mode. Adjust your position, so that you sit or lie as comfortable and relaxed as possible. Then use a little time to let everything be exactly as it is. Don't close your eyes yet, but accept the sounds around you, or perhaps if emotions arise. Just allow everything to be exactly as it is. Be observant. Step 1. Find a fixed point, which is placed slightly upwards in your field of vision. Focus on this point, let both your eyes disappear completely into it. While focusing, repeat within yourself, "I'm going deep into hypnosis." Repeat the mantra in a smooth and steady pace with a calm, soft and relaxed inner voice. Then begin very slowly closing your eyes, in the same manner as when you experience fatigue late in the evening. When your eyes are closed, continue to repeat the affirmation internally. Step 2. After a minute or two, start turning down the volume of the inner sentence. Do this very slowly, while listening to how your inner voice becomes weaker and weaker, until it eventually fades away. Listen to the sound of nothing, emptiness, the absence of words. Relax. Step 3. Then imagine and pretend that it is impossible to open your eyes, though you rationally know you can. Pretend that you are trying but it's impossible. Try but give up. Feel the tension of the eye muscles trying to lift the eyelids. Then in a split second let your eyes go totally relaxed. Loosen them and let them become heavy, tired and relaxed. At the same time allow all that relaxation from your eyes and eyelids to flow all over your entire body, as if a giant tsunami completely overwhelmed you, washing away all tension, flowing out to all areas of your body. To the top and bottom, from inside and outside, along your back, down to your feet, out to your fingertips. Let yourself float into that relaxed state. Become a heavy, drowsy and relaxed. Play along, fantasize, imagine. Step 4. Fine. The next step is enhancing the depth of the hypnosis. Start counting very slowly from 1 and up. Open your eyes at 1 and close on the word deeper again. Open at 2 and close to deeper, said inward. Repeat until your eyes are too heavy to open. Expect this to happen. Pretend, fake it till you make it. Step 5. Imagine you are in an elevator. Look at the display. The elevator has 10 floors. The bottom floor is called your subconscious garden. This is your destination. Press the button for that floor. Begin descending. Imagine yourself on each floor becoming more and more relaxed, more heavy and calm. Follow the numbers on the display to the bottom. If you for some reason don't feel comfortable with elevators, just take a staircase instead to the bottom floor, or maybe an escalator. The important thing is that you just relax and let go for every step. Self-hypnosis summary: focus on a fixed point, say the hypnosis mantra inwards and slowly close your eyes. Slowly turn down the volume of the mantra until inner mental silence is reached. I fixation and release relaxation. Open and close eyes deepening. Elevator/stairs, 10 steps deepening. NB, if you want to ensure that you reach the correct alpha/theta brainwave level, you can use the free MP3 that comes with this book when you bring yourself in self-hypnosis. The MP3 uses binaural beats, which automatically syncs your brainwaves to a deep alpha level at approximately 7 Hz. The link to the MP3 is in the back section here. Enjoy. Your subconscious garden, the technique. I have outlined the main parts of the transformation technique, so that when you later need them, you can quickly get an overview. The creation of your perfect belief/affirmation. Self-hypnosis. Deepening, the elevator. The subconscious garden, cleaning up, planting, fertilization, protection. Out of hypnosis or sleeping. Choosing your perfect belief. I am sure that you have a number of suggestions on what to change in your life from now on. You can choose to grab what immediately comes to your mind right now, or choose more consciously what you want to change. My advice is to take your time. It is important that it is well thought through. Start creating your very own perfect belief, based on the criteria we set up in the previous chapter. A phrase that is saturated emotionally and visually and is brief, precise, in present tense and in positive terms expresses what you want to change, achieve, create. As if it already has happened. The next thing I want to ask you is, quite simply, to imagine your visual symbol with your perfect affirmation contained inside. See Figure 5, just as a seed with a germ within it. This is what you will plant in the very innermost depths of your subconscious mind. So deep within that nothing can erase it. Then imagine that you place your beliefs symbol in your pocket. So it is there for you, when you enter the subconscious mind. Now you've done all the cumbersome preparatory work and can now look forward to some wonderful relaxation. The next step is that you must put yourself in deep hypnosis. When I say deep hypnosis, it is because we want any interference from the conscious mind eliminated. Therefore you must bring yourself down to a level corresponding to the level of alpha and theta, i.e. approximately 7.5 Hz. You may think, well, how do I know that I'm there? Forget about that, just follow the simple self-hypnosis technique, which I taught you in the previous chapter. The starting point is that I know you all your life has passed through this brainwave level while falling asleep and, incidentally, when you have woken up in the morning. I know you have this state within you, and I know how to get you there. Planting the seeds. After bringing yourself in self-hypnosis and descending to the ground floor. Open the door and step out into your subconscious garden. Fantasize and let all the impressions become strong, vibrant and real, as stepping directly into the movie Avatar or Alice in Wonderland. Here in your subconscious garden all the beliefs that you subconsciously over time have planted grow. Some will look beautiful, others might look strange and deformed. They grow because you subconsciously decided it to be so long ago. Now it's time for you to choose, maybe for the first time ever, what you consciously want to plant instead. Remember that the subconscious mind does as it is told, without distinguishing between what is good or bad. It carries out your orders. Cleaning up the mess. I want you to find the area in the garden which looks most dilapidated, unmaintained and seems to lack a lot of love and attention. This should be your starting point. Your first task is to clean up this area. Other weeds, stunted branches, rubbish or other garbage, then pull them out by the roots and put them aside in a pile. Be thorough. Once the area is cleared and only the clean soil remains, then set fire to the pile of waste so that it burns up entirely. Run your fingers through the soil to make sure that it is completely clean and free of weeds, as you would do in your own garden. Feel it, smell the ground and taste it. Use all your senses to ensure that the earth is clean, fresh and ready to accept something completely new. Fertilizing. Fertilize the soil with a super effective fertilizer, so the soil becomes the perfect spot for new growth. Use the fertilizer that you just know will work best. Remember that in the subconscious there are no rules or limitations. The subconscious creates what you imagine and create. Then make 10 small holes. Take your transformation symbols out from your pockets and plant one in each of the holes, lovingly but firmly and decisively. Each time you place a seed, say the affirmation inwards, recalling the feeling as strong and vivid as possible and keeping it fully alive on the cinema of your inner mind. Cover them carefully one by one and water them lastly. That's it. The gardener. The last thing you must do is to hire a gardener to tend and care for the earth, when you occasionally are occupied by tasks in your conscious life. This gardener needs to have your utter and complete confidence. He or she performs a vital part of the process. It may be someone new in your waking life, maybe someone from a gardening program in the TV, who has amazing abilities for making things to grow, or a fictitious person. As long as you have trust. Instruct the person on what his or her task is. Caring and nurturing the garden with the utmost care, respect and love, and ensure that the gardener takes full responsibility to care and protect the soil with his life against all external disturbances. That's it. You're done. Depending on which time of the day it is, you can either slip into a pleasant sleep or take the elevator the other way up to the top floor, and reorient yourself. If you choose to reorient yourself and come out of hypnosis, it's fine just being in the present for a moment without thinking further about the process on a conscious level. Your subconscious will in fact automatically run the process on autopilot from now on. Summary of the technique. Bring yourself into hypnosis. Find the most overgrown place in your subconscious garden. Clear the place full of weeds, dirt and garbage. Fertilize the ground. Plant your symbol, using all 5 senses. Listen, look, feel, taste and smell. Water subsequently. Employ a gardener of the best kind. Slip comfortably into sleep or reorient yourself towards full consciousness. Maintaining the changes. The maintenance. Your task is once a day to hypnotize yourself, and then take the elevator down to the subconscious garden, and check and test that everything is growing as it should. Check for any weeds and other junk and burn them. Then repeat your affirmation with all your senses switched on again and again, until you are ready to sleep or to get up to full consciousness again. The time of exercising this could be just when you lie down to sleep, taking full advantage that you quite naturally are drifting into the alpha state, or when you have a quiet peaceful moment for yourself during the day. This maintenance is essential, in order to be in full control of your emerging project. The technique can of course be used in conjunction with other issues you want to edit and change. The technique is universal. All problems that have arisen from a limiting belief can be successfully transformed. Are you, for example, a smoker? You can use the same method to quit smoking. Find the limiting beliefs that keep you stuck in your habit. This could be, nothing could be more wrong than that. The only weak in you is your belief of weakness. Rephrase this false and untrue belief and form a completely new and fresh one. The following changes, tips and tricks. This is not mentioned to discourage you, but quite the opposite. The words quoted above come from someone who knows what he's saying. All masters of all time have said something similar. My point is that change is a relative element, and will take place in you, not in your neighborhood. There probably will not be brightly colored auras around people's heads, heavenly light which shines everywhere, or complete balance and harmony wherever you see go. The world will still be full of unconsciousness, projections, anger, anxiety and insanity. It's all about how you begin to take back control, by detecting the more subtle changes that your subconscious mind has accepted as your reality. When something has changed in the subconscious, it will always show up as new automatic behavior. If your goal was to change an old idea like, "I'm not worthy of love," changes could show up as a sudden strange intuitive sense of being less concerned of what people think about you because you already are loved by you. Maybe your goal was to lose weight and the next time you go to the supermarket, you will go past the candy shelf. Oops. You forgot to remember to stop. Fine, keep it going. Therefore, I recommend you not to focus or think too much, but just keep on doing your daily 10-minute self-hypnosis, as you would monitor any new process that you have set in motion. Epilogue. Dear reader, whether you bought this book, or if it by chance or magic has landed in your hands, I would like to be able to thank you. I know that this book will give you great options to create a better, richer, and above all easier life. I am of the firm belief that your happiness ultimately benefits me and vice versa. In the end we all are part of the one, and we all are inseparable. So I thank you. This comes deep from my heart. I wish you all the best with lots of love, light and happiness in the years to come. Copyright 2014 by Martin Sjold, all rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or other electronic or mechanical methods, without the prior written permission of the publisher, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical reviews and certain other non-commercial uses permitted by copyright law. For permission requests, write to the publisher, addressed, Attention, Permissions Coordinator, at the address below. Innerstream Media. Karl Janhoffs Veg 13. 7120 Vedel Denmark www.innerstream.dk. Disclaimer. This book is not intended as a substitute for the medical advice of physicians. The reader should regularly consult a physician in matters relating to his/her health and particularly with respect to any symptoms that may require diagnosis or medical attention. The reader assumes all responsibility for the use of the information in this text. Dedication. I want to dedicate this book to all the thousands of clients who over the years have passed through my clinic. Their courage, honesty and deep desire for change have formed the basis of the knowledge of the subconscious mind, that made it possible for me to write this book. About Martin. Martin Sjold is one of Denmark's finest hypnotists and hypnotherapists. Martin Sjold is originally trained in musicology at the University of Aarhus. The past 13 years, Martin has worked full-time as a hypnotherapist, and has later been trained as a master hypnotherapist. Martin is known for providing engaging, creative and life-changing hypnosis and hypnotherapy at a high professional level. Martin has approximately 3,500 live sessions behind him, ranging from abuse-related issues such as anorexia, bulimia, sugar addiction, tobacco addiction, alcoholism, compulsive gambling, stress-related problems like insomnia and difficulty concentrating, to anxiety in various forms, both general and more specific-oriented phobic anxiety. I've always been good at languages and words, but it took several years before I found out how to leverage my gift to the full. I can do this with hypnosis. Hypnosis in a therapeutic context is created and occurs through the language. The words are, when they are used and put together in a special way, a battering ram between the conscious and subconscious. The client listens and I talks. Before I became a hypnotherapist, I often played with the words, and found new meanings, did a bit of twisting and turning on the existing one. Nothing is as it seems. Perception of words, a opdernig to a chatkmabrigda, anerftisi. It diosentmta in what oredvel tears in a rodar, the olnir permittentin is start the first and will satire the gitpkli. The set can be a totemses and you consider it wow that poor belm. Tisis pcus either Juan Midios not Rodril Tobias Lef. But the rod is a woe. Original source unknown. Connect. Thank you for reading. I invite you to share your thoughts and reactions. Subscribe to our mailing list. As a subscriber, you will be the first to receive news about new books, products, offers, deals and freebies. Click here to subscribe, http://epearl.com/24wed. If you have questions or comments about the book, please feel free to contact me through my author website, which is http://www.subconsciouschanges.com/home. Free gift, Zen Trance, MP3 Relaxation. Zen Trance. You can download one of my meditation MP3 products for free. Please follow this link, http://www.selfhealingmusic.com/wbcontent/upload/tile2014/tile/zentrance.mp3. Right-click and save it to your device or mail the link to yourself and save. If you have any problems downloading, please mail me and I will fix it for you. You can use Zen Trance for relaxation purposes or use the MP3 when you bring yourself in self-hypnosis. The MP3 uses binaural beats, which automatically syncs your brainwaves to a deep alpha level at approximately 7 Hz. This will ensure that you reach the proper level of relaxation when you use self-hypnosis. Happy listening. Other self-help products by the author. Zen Trance, MP3 album. In Uterus, MP3 album. The Mind Witness, MP3 album. Your Timeless Essence, MP3 album. Deep Down Relaxing, MP3 album. Seeds of Perfect Health, MP3 album. The Valuable You, MP3 album. The MP3 albums can be downloaded from http://www.selfhealingmusic.com.